Yo, it's your friend for your hopefully radio no asugusu with you no. I said kwesi da bia ye na financial peace education ye ne Patrik na Yaw Barfi. I'm say last week your mama dear son kokra na about taxes and then so nyame adom or the nana and then a pound for asa chen. Inti bomodi and ko Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Abe fontin tiny bias and they join ye. Last week in some for questions pa. What bet me afre now the question number or me crowd so umbi ano ama. And I say, O sendimaya, the be mom no me ano ama. Inti yen chen ye twan ho na yakofa nana and then a pound for normal the jumedi no abre. You know, so why a crowd but you wait me assume am I?
Yo, a team for your boy Patrik Barfi. Hopefully radio and I would see senior the no financial peace education and I de bro no. And there a topic near a continuation of last week, which is tax season 2025. What you need to know before you do your taxes. Very imperative say ebi hu sa nneɛma nyinaa yɛnuanom Dani ne Obed ɔmo akyerɛkyerɛ mu kakra ma yɛnua Obed ɛnam kwan so a ɔbɛjoin yɛ by wɔ yɛnua Dani wɔ ha. So a little bit of deɛ yɛyɛ last time no yɛn recap na yɛmfiri ha nkɔ ɛnɛ deɛ yɛyɛ nkyerɛkyerɛ mu kɛsɛ questions na ɛbɛyɛ answer mo yɛhu sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ this year ɛwɔ sɛ yɛfile yɛ taxes by 15th of April. Now this year taxes na end at the same time so you can say so file it we are similar 14,000 for your friends a deduction of 14,600 we a friends a joint your friends a married couple so a 29,200 make kanyama ye kakra na fi ya free honum and say we will be your friends say here you say taxes in the tax year no tax year ne the year adwuma wom no na taxes in the year na ye filing 2024 adwuma and ye filing in the season this year 2025 ya na ye kan nyina bom also nya santi ase nyina nti a bracket no so ti ase say so we adwuma ye fan say e bia we adwuma 100,000 enye ni nyina na bia ye 24% straight and bia sa ne mum your first your first 100 first 11,600 no no a difference in 10% na if we work on we am say who here my first meeting that one amount for na
And then email it about
me email
I feel that will be a choose now.
I will done in a Danny na no de or the
Okay.
2 hours and my main cancel media I'm sa cancel media 7 media ko green one ko
But I
nti your friend saying first 11,600 till 10% for single married with a couple no I know you're 23,200 the next 11 to 47,150 12,000 12% and I know a single marriage 23,200 between 23,200 to 94,300 and 22% a single a 47 150 to 152 525 and a couple a year from 94 300 to 201 050. 24%. It is only at the time. Yes, it's in a boom to say, yes, baby, I will see can it drubia near all the way up to 37%. Na ye omo omo juma 609 up for single and 731 200 for couple. In fact, 35%. So yeah, makusi chise benin 24 243 75 725 to 609,350 to couple so yeah 487 450 to 731 200 and at 32% 191 95 0 to 243 725 and a couple yeah 303 900 to 487 450 sana no ɛteɛ nyɛ sɛ ɛfiti a ne ɛtete wo saa ayi nyinaa we so yɛ standard deduction na ɛwɔ mu no ɛno so ɛnie ɛno single ɛyɛ 14,600 if it's a miling filing join ɛso yɛ 26 married filing separately so yɛ 14,600 and a household head of household ɛyɛ 21,900 nti yɛka ebi fa tax deduction and a tax credit deɛ ɛboa wo ɛma ebi a taxable income kɔ fam na deɛ ebi wɔ so a ɛyɛ cash ankasa na obinya ebi wɔ even with the tax credit no koraa ebi wɔ a ɛyɛ non-refundable yɛntumi refund ma wo nti ɛno sɛ ɛkɔ no kɔsi a wonya sika yɛne wobɛkyerɛkyerɛ nyinaa ma dane so ɛne ɛwɔ charitable sɛ wo deductions no a wowɔ no a yɛmfa sɛ government yɛama wo no sɛ wote sɛ obi a wowɔ nneɛma bi a wobɛtumi atamize a yɛka sɛ woatamize yɛmfa sɛ wɔ expenses bi a woyɛ yɛboro deɛ government no de ama wo a usually wo tax preparer no ɔhwɛ wotumi provide saa nneɛma no ma na wotumi ka kyerɛ no a then na sɛ ɛno no yɛ more than deɛ government de ama wo no a then ɔbɛgo with that one nti ɛno no ɛne ɛyɛ friend sɛ nti ɛno ne ɛwɔ charitable organizations ɛne nneɛma a woyɛyɛ a ɛbɛtumi aboa nti ɔmo keka saa nneɛma nyinaa ho medical deductions ne nyinaa ɛka ne nyinaa ho asɛm ɛna ɔmo businesses ne business deduction ne saa nneɛma nyinaa yo nti bro ɛm sɛ wedeɛ yɛn ma ne ɛnkɔ akyiri yɛbɛstart ne yɛde questions n'aba sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a ɛnɛ no yɛbɛnya more time atumi ayɛ wei nti questions bi wɔ hɔ biara no yɛmfa mmara no afei so obi so bɛtumi afrɛ so asi mu direct so a yɛbɛtumi aboa
Yo, Nana, yɛda nyame nhyira m sɛ wasan summarize adeɛ no koraa ama yɛn. Yɛwɔtiefo sɛ na meka ne number no ɛyɛ 703 565 2360. Studio deɛ no 703 565 2360. Mede ɔno ankasa so ne number ato so 703 a wobɛtumi afrɛ no 703 981 1910 703 981 1910. Yɛwie program no a wobɛtumi afrɛ no sɛ wowɔ asɛmmisa bi a nana
ɛne yɛde dane deɛ so bɛto so ɛno so yɛwie a dane yɛ no atestament na yɛde ato so
yeah, okay, that's the question koraa obi abisa sɛ brothers no ɛsɛ dane afiri so nti ɔmu no ɔmu bisa sɛ brothers no mbaɛ no nkyɛ da no yɛn provide ɔmo numbers yeah, nana the question was ɔmo yɛ taxes ni bi ana that's another question amanfo bisa sɛ ɔmo yɛ taxes ni bi a
dane yɛ tax paa
okay
or CPA nti no ɛnyɛ tax nko a anything about when it comes to accounting ne saa nneɛma no nyinaa dane yɛ CPA ankasa paa sɛ taxes is very complex nti na ɛhia dane wɔ ha no ɛyɛ very very complex ɔno deɛ n'adwuma paa wɔyɛ paa yɛ saa nneɛma no nko a ɛneɛ
okay
yes
okay ti sɛ de nana akyerɛ mu no last week nana ɛm sɛ question bi ba about sɛdeɛ yɛgye sika no about cash app any paper deɛ na ɛm sɛ daneɛ ntumi ansa ama yɛn na obisa about cash app ɛna paper sɛ sɛ wode sika fa cash app anaasɛ wo receive more money on cash app any saa internet process na ɛno nso ho asɛm te sɛ
Thank you very much. Atie for me, Madam Wasipa, for the opportunity. Obia Otie, I highlight Easy Hope for Life Radio. Nyame Ensure Munina. Quick one regarding
what confirm kakra nti wobɛtumi adjust camera no na waba soro kakra ma yɛakɛyɛ pɛpaa
that Danny is very busy man.
I know.
Oh, they said the voice. What's that?
Is
True
it
music.
is it better now?
Wow.
Is it better now?
You
Yeah,
better
it
find the
is.
14.
Yeah.
It's me
Great.
could be a monkey,
So,
but yeah, and me could have 14.
oh, sorry. I hope say income. I think what I would
Yeah,
say
Tonka.
regarding Cash App ni that payment platform ni say the last time what we were trying to say is say nanka on say ukoye juma bi on the side na say wunya aketua to say 600 anytime I wunya aketua more than $600 and 600 and above no normally we receive BBI friend 1099 so 1099 no the government now propose to say so when you sika from Cash App platform, that's a wuto idea. If you was small business on the side, only journey, you sell stuff and then you receive money through Cash App now. Government this see Cash App identify not only Cash App, PayPal and all those third-party settlement platform no. Or more identify people who like have services like that and then send them 1099. Send your they will report that money you receive to IRS. Initially, they wanted it to be $600, but people were pushing back on that because it's like a lot of work for people. So they brought it up to 5,000. Right now, it's at 5,000. So we Jumabi will cash up. We Jumabi na say we receive this account cash up that is above uh, between 5,000 and above now. Any money at 5,000 and above, I will 1099. So that is where it stands right now. But over time, I see this changing. I see this changing. So we're bringing it to the 600. And then with the new government, we know that there are talks about, IRS being, I know it's not yet finalized, but right now this is where it stands. Uye Jumana say unya 5,000 through Cash App, ubenya 1099. Inti sikebia ubenya free ono. So u file u taxes na unya u 1099 kra. That's a Jumana oya. It will be great to ube disclose ama will tax prepare no and how the account say it's part of the income that you made. Thank you.
Wow. Wow.
So what you say, Mike?
Uh-huh.
Any panel, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Me sure so much say. Amemfa konye Mr. Andrew apia baby a mu bi anya me sure mo. Debbie papa bi ana Kazapo, okay. Clement mu nyina so baby a mu bi a mutie bi a nyame sure say na kan wa betimi de aba. Aha, wo test ban so a e de be man na wa answer mine. Okay. President Danny, another question about W4. The last time you talk about W4, what time and we hear W4 and another person so about April. Also usually a bionuma so last minute, but sometimes they end up going over say April no crab and dinner omuntimi emfale and no penalties be say only car you still get penalties be and I say and the only issue be our
Okay, thank you. These are great questions. For the W4, no, me the link be to your platform so on the chat box, chat side,
okay.
no, me the link be to all. So link no na say be a T4, you can click on that, or when you go to the IRS website now, I bet me amawa anya a good estimate of how much money has to be withheld from your account. What is W4? W4 no yeah. So it may be normally no or more form no to fill out. Say there company no be how much tax are deducted free income no. If you move fill form now, yeah, or more reduce amount now. Company bɛtumi ate yɛ mu nti nea ɛba no ne sɛ sɛ ɔmo file tax a usual ɔmo de ka so
Danny,
if you are
your community, you can say o claim, o claim,
Uh-huh.
and on Betty
okay
as claim,
yeah ɔmo claim yeah that's right
Obua or claim, or say, what claim be 5 because or no, na 4. TSA until tax case, and then the person then the
exactly so yeah movie no ABI yeah claim yeah who yeah claim yeah man so many people in the family so yeah two tax now you bet two from the company now omudi bekma IRS no senior be a file utasa if your person when you be obenya no sadia no it doesn't happen because omo antikes here it normally no u file utasa obon say odika. So it's important say every year be every year like beginning of this year we are in February the year is young share W4 how much you claim because your situation may have changed. Obi wa last year no number, but now all back. So adjust your W4. You can put the calculator has a lot of input. You can just follow the prompts, put your income there, and then it will calculate a good amount that should be withheld for you. You can change your W4 with your employer anytime. Anytime you can just go and then tell them that, hey, I'm adjusting this, and then it will take effect on the next payroll. Sometimes they will say the next 2 payrolls so that they can make sure that they are taking the amount, as you have stipulated. So W4 the time it be a person who adjust, especially now that you are filing your tax. So be one as a one person already car, you can adjust it. So one person who are if you're when you scabi brain now person who claims can them, you can adjust it. So and only you can do it anytime. The next question that came, which was the second question, is Obi wa person on the boss now claiming on filing late now to mean claiming it. The taxes no around April
Yeah,
or after
after
April.
April.
Okay, this is the requirement. IRS requires say by April 15th, Obi Bia a filing the tax. Wa file wa declare wa file 1040 na year. So when to me and file with tax by April 30th, you can seek for an extension. 6 months will be given to you so that you within that 6 months you can go back and file your taxes. But sa extension now, IRS the Bema will know. It is only extension to file. Inti say by the 15th of April, that's a file idea udika 1,000. Sa extension doesn't cover a kananka ufali ya ubedi no. That $1,000 a canon, you should have paid by 15th. The extension is only for you to take your time to gather your papers in order to file. It is a way udika that's by April 15 when to be and file from April 15 throughout and beyond no IRS the tax to sue or the interest non tax or the interest better sue. So interest not the better sue no. When you file your taxes no by the time you file no so 1,000 will send a year. So I would suggest to people, sir, even if you are not ready to file, just try and then ask your tax preparer or check how much, whether you are going to owe or you are going to have a claim or you're going to get some money back. If you owe, pay before April 15th so you don't really incur too much expenses on your taxes.
Wow, was that any that say? Where's the other? I say last week. Okay, I say obisa a question about say or the upper tax and no or money figure said this time I need more money or money this money, but okay, say and you're right issues. Also say so far why yes so when you buffalo for crowd or the cow to me more unya issue be doesn't mean say in the near future you better bring a bill and I say there's something wrong somewhere.
Because on koso nye hebe buaru pa.
That question is a good question. Maminka Winchaya, especially in our community, it be more also it be the whole year on ye Juma the whole year. Wakoi be a Ghana, Wakotna Ghana, Sarah for so long. Waba back just 2 months or the whole year on ye Juma. Iti ebi mutimini omutas prepares no shishe. And now on one kasa so yeah that's why now I get to say, oh, me ye juma on the side, me ton a journey man for. It is now I shame say a journal ton ye no on your idea $500 pay. It is a $500 now yeah no they are falitas. because the income level no is so low now. A buying will be we call earned income credits. Some of these credits are refundable. So earned income credit, say if you're 3,000 B or so, now you share, oh, this is casa. Now some of the credit requires that you work before you can really be eligible for that. Now, adwuma no a ɔno ankasa ɔka sɛ ɔyɛɛ no wapɛ dwane 500 no na that will be the basis sɛ no deɛ ɛwɔ na account mu ɔsɛ ɔyɛ adwuma ɔnyɛ hwee na IRS for their filing tax na yɛde saa sika no ama no obi so wɔ hɔ a ɔfiling na sɛ especially charity Salvation Army ɔde ne shirt dada bi a wahyɛ saa kɔɛ shirt wei no na wahwɛ shirt na ɔno koraa na wama shirt no price bi a ɛsom bo paa good price right na sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a ɛbɛma ne tax liability na aba fam for them to get higher refund obi so wɔ hɔ a they overvalue some of these things ɛyɛ saa na you get more refund there's one thing I would say is IRS usually sɛ wobɛnya letter na they sample. Okay, the people are many, they sample. So what anye na a sample war. I'm dealing with people like that right now. Okay, that I'm working with them to talk with IRS. They can, be flexible as far as some of the penalties they have slapped on them. When it comes to fraud, there is no statute of limitation. There is nothing like, oh, maybe I checked it was 6 years ago or 5 years. No. And no dear and pound. It is 10 years ago and it's going to come after you. It will come after you when it comes to fraud. Okay, but things like, oh, you left out unintentional little mistakes here and there. Yes, usually the statute of limitation can help you. But if it has to do with fraud and or did you say and two are that I've dealt with people my life in I am miserable just because of Obi cut out $30,000. $30,000. So Oti and now be sound say, Ade, what did you do? Now see you now me filing and most of the times me who will be or the car or no waka tell me say no any mistake that. Me who will be that. Ọmụ nyinaa ọmụba ọmụbɛka kyerɛ wo sɛ ɛyɛ nea ɔfa litas no ma me no ɛnyɛ me o me meka kyerɛ me nim ho hwee so mpakyɛ let's try to do the right thing and be reasonable sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a waso like you will get your peace of mind. Okay.
Wow. Any issues, pal. Yeah. No, Masarin, what about the scholarship? So scholarship taxes.
So scholarship, generally, like we mentioned, scholarship, generally when you are filing, you get a form anytime you receive a scholarship. There are forms they issue just like you get a W-2. There's 1098. You get forms from the people that gave you the scholarship. One thing about that scholarship is that most of the scholarships, especially the ones for tuition, most of the donors give it directly to the school, which is really helpful, right? When they give it directly to the school, but when you are filing you should know about it to disclose this is scholarship that you got. You don't get penalized or charged tax on that when it is used for the purpose for which it was given to you, like especially tuition. But there are scholarships, maybe students they receive the money. When you receive the money, maybe I will see you 3 courses. 3 courses, no semester courses, no where reduce courses, no 2 or 1, but you still receive money for 3. Nasa third one, who you should be a unyama, maybe a room and board, with your renty and our top books and other things. It was not really for tuition now. And on who follow with us now, it counts as income to you. Until you count gross income, now you're charging with tax. So that is something that even if we use, we have to know that we need to pay tax on that.
Wow, wow. I mean, yeah, Joyce, a Japan baby, will be a Yamisha, a Jua Amoako, Consul Yamisha, and a Befi John, baby, a Musuti, Fribia, Yamisha, someone joining. Ha, was it any question? Where very interesting. Was say about the cash up, the na who explaining this here. For instance, as you say, a community, most of people, a year, use cash up, and a digi scan. Scanning yes, car, or my generate, and I say, adwuma ɔma yɛ ana ebi nso wɔ nom a ɛyɛ means a nkurɔfoɔ de fa tua ɔmo ka let's say bi a wɔyɛ yie na nkurɔfoɔ adonate na ɔbɛkɔ na yɛbɛyɛ 5,000 obi wɔ nso a obi ɔno ani nua na ɔmo na transfer sika ama no through that how does it affect you on taxes?
All right. So regarding Cash App, like I mentioned, if you Juma from there, any place Nasa more than 600 now, you'll be getting a 1099 from 1099K from them. Now, to say BB to say donations, the government doesn't charge so when you're gifter, you the recipient, for the most part, you don't pay tax on it. Okay, you don't pay tax when you receive a gift. Usually, if it's huge, they have a threshold. Let's take 750,000, 500,000. If the gift is huge, the one who is given the gift pays the tax on the gift. It's the donor who pays the taxes on the gift, not the one who receives. So here is the point that I want to make regarding like funeral donations. They are donations. They are not the monies you receive or the funds you receive is not for you for something you've done or you've sold goods or services. So that becomes like a gift. You are not expected to be paying tax on gifts. If by mistake Cash App sends you a 1099K, say, oh, what on BB now, want to me classify in a year, and they send you that 1099K now. A trace said, 1099K no before you receive it, no, my IRS that I catch on say, what on BB now you've conducted a service, rendered a service that has given you that sum of money. You need to munisa or software Cash App for then on church or say it wasn't mini business be a donation. What they have to do is say once you send them information and you agree with them, they understand everything, they have to do a correctional filing with the IRS. They have to now correct the filing they did to show say when you're they will file and show that on your zero amount. So that's how you handle it. They have to correct that, and then when you are filing your tax too, you don't include that as income, a donation. Okay.
Wow, what's that?
Danny, before then,
Kasana.
I mean, can be big back. If you share light on, who's a kind of gift, no? And my mother call, I mean, say even cry parents, or gifter, who be seen share light kakra or no. Because yeah, community inside and yeah, nim cry.
Debbie.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I'm giving some figures to this. Okay.
I know.
Thank you. That's a good question. So with respect to gifts, when you are given gifts, there is what we call annual exclusions, right? For as of 2023, you can give somebody up to 17,000. Putting me more be 17 up to 17,000. Okay, without reporting it to the IRS. And when you are supposed to catch IRS sending my gift, no. Okay, and then also if you are a parent as of 2003 filing period, now it has increased. I can check the 2024 amount, am I? But then for 2023, if you're a parent, I can give my child a gift, me and my wife, we can give our one kid up to $34,000 as of 2023. And we say we will disclose anything in our tax filing. So when it comes to that, and there is no tax on that, there is no tax. Okay, there is a gift tax return for filing when the amount is more than these thresholds. Okay, and no, you have to just for information purposes disclose. But there is also an amount that if it goes beyond that, taxes, gift to pay tax on that. So you ultimately tell 5,000, not the Ashena account to me. To your tax, also to your tax. And when you yourself catch even your tax person when you are filing your taxes. And because you don't have to disclose that.
Yeah, you move below you name sad and crass it will trash would be crass be our old chair by Ewo. And yeah, about that. Next question, man.
And then where the end I say about the W2 and W4 no or was it any explaining which is which. And so I'm for confused with the W2 and W4.
Okay. I will share my screen kakra senior baby person W2 ni W4 nasi. Let me share. So to me home screen now. Let me I'm on the heads up. In fact, to me home screen.
I'm actually home screen.
Okay, great. So I put this link in our chat. This link would help you. So W4 it's what helps your company. Maybe I will year jumano. So multi-utasa companies maybe will to say ye juma be like your sisters, your friends now where like something like CNA say ebi more omunti utas omudi sikani nyina ma obum say ne be ya wankasa obe kwakotua utas but companies ebi omuna omuti tax no or so muti tax no mu fama IRS no e wo say omu say ahina e wo say omunti no mu fama IRS they don't have the right to say ombeti usika bia mo pe nti ɛwɔ sɛ ɔmo ne wo budi ho nkɔmmɔ na ɔmo mu sɛ yɛbɛte wo $1 na $2 wona ɛwɔ sɛ wokyerɛ ɔmo sɛ timi 300 or timi 100 or $50 every paycheck na ɔmfa ma IRS ɛyɛ wo na ɛwɔ sɛ wokyerɛ nti how do you go about showing them say mepɛ sɛ wotimi $20 or $100 the form a yɛuse to be able to know how much company no I was so muti no move from IRS no sa form no your friend from W4. Okay, so it's that from W4 no in order to know how much I was so muti and was so muti too much was so muti too low. There's a calculation that goes with it. This IRS website helps you to know how much I was so muti. So here you come to this side, as you can see, it says information about you. Select the information that best describes you, how you anticipate filing your 2025 tax return. So for instance, we talked about the filing status. The status, we talked about it last week, right? So we know that we have single, married filing jointly, married filing separately, head of household and qualifying widow. If you are married and you're filing jointly or you are single, let's say you are single this year, you just click single and move on. Then the next question, do you have a job or a pension that regularly withholds federal income taxes from your paycheck or pension? Yes, sir. Now, beside with the next question. So you follow these prompts, select any that apply. I plan to claim dependents on my return. When you are filing your taxes, do you have any dependent? So based on the question, who answer them religiously. Now we'll go to next step. These questions will guide you to know exactly how much your company needs to withhold. This would go on the W4 once you finish the calculation. So that's the W4. Now, when we come to W2, no, we share example where me share what screen is so we are an example of from W2. So from W2 no, it's wage and tax statement. Wage and taxes statement share share. Sikibia company no, so you're employee, you're the W2, you're the employee. If you are an employee, if you are an independent contractor, that's a one year employee and only 1099. But we employee unya form a friend W2. This is an example of it. Ube will say Udin Waha, your first name, your last name, employer no the address, employer no their employer identification number. Sikebia mutia throughout the year. This is annual. The whole year, how much they paid you is 50,000. So muti social security, so amount to the show the total amount. Any Medicare wages, it will be here. Any federal, this is important for your tax filing purposes. How much tax has been withheld is 4,092. This shows the total amount that they took from the income. This one here, what you can see here, and the number 2 is based on the W4 now, you see, W4 now, we are, and now based on it, they withheld this 4,092 to the IRS. So they disclose it on the W2, and then any social security and all that. So that is the form W2. Any state wages, income tax you have paid, they paid on your behalf to the state, it shows on the form. And this is one of the things you need for filing your taxes, the W2. That is if you're an employee. So that's the main difference between the W4. W4 not sure how much you want the company to withhold from your periodic income now, and then the W2 shows a summary of all the monies you received, the taxes they paid, and all deductions for the entire year. Thank you.
Wow, that's a good explanation. Yeah. Okay, what's that? This one say, "Opeso making more money into or yeah, juma more like 2 or 3 jobs." Also, who said the more yeah, juma, does it affect your taxes? So yeah, juma more, it me ma boka, and I say, put me generating more money.
That's a good question. Our tax filing here in the US, I want to briefly explain it, but also share something real quick. When we file our
What's that?
taxes
Yeah,
here,
about
I'm not sure. Oh, yes, screen.
screen I know was say, but the ocean number. Fee number.
Okay. So it's good to do a lot of jobs and make money. Unlike some states, the US federal government, the Fed, the tax that we all pay is not flat. It is progressive. The difference between a flat rate and a progressive rate is what I would explain. State BT say Indiana. Indiana is a state that the state itself, no, they pay what we call a flat. They have a flat rate on their tax, so it is like 3.5%. It doesn't matter how much you make. So you can make 20 billion, you still pay 3.5% to the state. You make 10,000, you pay 3.5% to the state. But the federal government tax system is different. It is called progressive system. Progressive literacy, the more you make, the more you also pay your taxes. So definitely, if you work more jobs, you still make good money. but you also pay a little bit more in taxes. And that is what our brother Dave explained to us. It's just like this, okay? And so we can take more questions. Now, I'll just say this, what I'm going to say briefly is that, so we make it 11, let's take it, you make $15,000. If you make $15,000 now, in this example, 15,000, you are not going to pay 10% on the 15,000. What would happen is that if you can see my calculator, do you see my calculator?
Chatting in there also.
Oh, chatting also. Okay. So let me share this so that it will be. Okay. Can you see my calculator now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it, you are making 15,000. The whole year you made $15,000. $15,000. So $15,000 now will make it, the federal government is going to take 10% of the first, if you are single, okay, the federal government will take 10% on the first 11,600 out of the 15,000. So what we will do is that this 15,000 here, we will take out 11,600 into Rebecca 3,400. Okay, into Maisha will 3,400. So this is how it's going to work. The first 11,600, no, IRS is going to charge 10% of that. 10% is 0.1. So you pay 1,160 on the first 11,600. Out of the 15,000 now, which you have 10% on the 11,600, it's a 3,400. That 3,400 no, ebe falling into a different tax bracket. So I don't know, we 12% on the 3,400. So times
Wow.
0.12. And no buy $408. So $408 plus the 1,169 you claiming before no, will be 1,568. So say your taxable income no 15,000 now. Then all you pay is 1,568 in IRS taxes. Until the more you make, the more the excess income will fall into the other buckets. The highest rate I'll be to make is 37%, which is here. Okay, so that is how it works. The more you make, the more you earn, the more you also pay in taxes.
Wow. And it's in here, you're making money.
Yeah, I think this, when it comes to the wealth planning side, one of the things I would say is we all have to know how much is enough for us, right? How much is enough for us? The more you make, the more you make taxes. But then there is also what we call tax planning and tax strategy.
Mm-hmm.
When people start making good money, what they do is that they don't file just taxes like some of us do, right? You need lawyers, you need professionals, you need professional in your portfolio. They will make you more money because there is what we call tax planning. Okay, most of the people I've met, they don't really plan their taxes. And one is at the end of the year, they gather their documents and then they file. But you can actually know how much your tax is going to look like before the year ends. It's simple. You can even determine, say, this is what I'm going to pay, or this is how I'm going to go about it this year. But it's important, say, you start tax planning earlier on in the year because there are a lot of strategies that can help you also save money. But if you plan late, it will be difficult for you to do that.
Yeah, that is when I come in. Mostly no, a boa ma start early. Said your kind one china yeah ne coin the answer na said you can make more money make a lot of money or more professionals or more help until we make it say if you say make it 600,000 we need to 37%. There's like almost can in answer. It also bet me planning the same way. So we making more money. You have to understand the system. You have to understand the environment. How yes, if it's now who make it to say you making no, you have to understand that. Sometimes now they come and say, your community no, say be a bit fee kakra na ebia obi atimi aboa obi bi ho no ye nye da na obi hu na afie bia you lose money so what is the kind of say they will take money but they will help you also make money who drew level bia yes also making sure say only professionals or CPA or lawyer or sankrofoni na our setting nti omo be kire say bia beginning of the year say no be obo otimi yetimi ka kire say e wo say bia okoto kra okoto dan ana say bia otimi ye bibi ansa na year na end because bia scan away dia na do point bia wan hwe obitua more to the government bia so auto asset bi right away e bia wonya nuro but as times wo kono na o hwe sa nyema ni na na we starting in term now start so the nyema to 2 year fees ne bi wanya den sa because bia if I say be making 100,000 grand up say start so prepare on nyema year nipa na o charge 100,000 ko charge if I say 20,000 maybe kakra bi but that's why professionals are there to help you next questions.
Wow. Nana, we say what about say or no one person will be dealing with IRS and what about say one file tax crowd don't want to deal with them and also issue and
filing taxes there. You see, paying taxes is not a crime, but filing taxes is a crime. Now, it one file here. Who files the say which year now where year? What is the eventual? It filing taxes there, one file a crime. Do you think they don't want to deal with IRS? No, and yeah, and muscle.
whether you like
Daddy,
it or
who a
not, you're
cracker
so
one?
far.
Who a cracker who? Daddy.
Me wo bebre can wo ho. So yeah, I think first of all, if you decide say you don't want to deal with IRS, just make sure say you don't make so much money in the country. It requires over $5. Right. So for instance, we have a threshold that if you are making, you must file taxes. It's a requirement. But if you are not making any money, you are not taking any money anywhere, and you are not meeting the criteria, that's fine if you are not filing. However, if you are making the threshold and you are not filing taxes, that becomes an issue. Then because the people that give you money, like W-2s and all that, they have already reported you to IRS. So it's not a matter of you not filing. If you are not filing, they know. They know. So the day you get a letter, that's going to really be very stressful for you. That's one. The other thing too that I would also share is that sometimes it's not say filing taxes is for your own benefit sometimes. Sometimes because of your income, there are people who file taxes and they rather make money because of the credits that the government gives. Okay, so that's one. You can make some money from filing taxes legitimately. The second part too is that there are certain things you want to do here in the United States. You do so many things. It would require say you have something, they can ask you for your tax 1040 tax filing. Okay. The other thing too is for those of us who maybe you have brothers, relatives in Ghana that you want to bring to the US, and all that. All these things require say you have some income disclosed. And one of the things they require or they request that you demonstrate that you have is your taxes. Tax that you have filed taxes. Obisi or your green card holder and I be on your green card holder. I feel now you the crata and your man all that. That's a whole your crata one sem and all your green card holder. So who call for
citizenship, one of the things that they will ask you is whether what they are inquiring or tax filing. So there's a lot of nuances to deciding not to file or not to file. Okay, but overall, it benefits you when you file the taxes. One concern.
Wow, Nana. I'm saying I can't few minutes. My for these two questions, Rana. I feel now my wrap up
Ma
my.
me play
Uh-huh.
devil advocate bi wɔ ha. I hope say many nipa no tie na me ni obi yɛ. Daddy, my insight kakra. So my file taxes my nyɛ adwuma biara from 2001 2002 2003 my nyɛ adwuma biara nti my file taxes, right? But me wɔ dependent. Now me pɛ me file those taxes. What would you tell me? I feel I'm person me call back na me call file those dependent na. My nyɛ adwuma but I'm more dependent. Those years na atwam kura already na. I feel I'm person me file.
I said, I want me to home.
And when me too.
All
When me
right.
how
So first of all, if you haven't filed taxes for all these years, and my only advice is whether I have people who file but because they don't have any income, you still can do information only and still file. Okay. Maybe it's because of maybe a second your tax accountant, you know. So we say we need to second one, and that is a big deal for you. There are free resources, IRS resources, especially for people who are not really making any money at all, right? Or their income is not huge. There are voluntary services IRS offers where you can do your own filing, or they can even assist you to file. So I would suggest to everybody or anyone on this line who is not really making anything at all, but they yearn to file their taxes, say there is a way out. Okay, where you can file at zero cost. Okay, that's anyone. So if that is the main reason, and then also if you don't know this, Obinima will be better. Have accountant or have somebody knowledgeable, like our brother Berfi, who can also explain the reason why you have to file. So that's the first thing I'll say. The second part is that if you have dependents and now you have dependent and you want to really file those taxes, you need to make sure you have the documentation. Gather those documentation. Make sure you have evidence of the fact that those kids have lived with you for years and or for the entire, it should be more than 6 months of the year for you to be able to claim them, and then you can file maybe in the current year. Regarding those years now, to me, you can go in all the way back, and maybe if there is no good tangible reason and you don't need to file, you don't earn any income, any big deal, that's fine. But you can still currently file with the kids now. You have them. You can still file and disclose your income, and then that will be good for you. But say, maybe you made income in those times and 1 year, you and all that, and maybe out and no year, it will raise some red flag. And if ever say, what's going on with this gentleman? Because
why
your
make
record is
any income? Now for the old bus about the file.
yeah,
One the whole be try.
yeah. And I would always say some of these things too, it will be helpful for you to sit down with your tax accountant or the consultant, talk to them, disclose things to them, and they will be able to guide you in a good way so that you won't pass them.
Wow. Then I can 5 minutes. More answer these two questions, my na more wrap up on some kind of my. Or say or just social security and no also file tax. And the two. So if so what age is social security no longer taxed?
Okay, so there are nuances to social security when it comes to social security. Generally, if you don't really earn much and it's just social security generally, and it's not really huge money, you don't really have any huge tax liabilities or tax issues. But and so we have people who earn social security, and because of that, they don't want to really do so much work. It will push them to the level where they have to pay taxes. So that's why you see some of these older people, they work at Walmart. They work at basic places that are like they just want to be active, right? So that they don't really have so much tax burden. So that's for social security. So making social security, you are earning social security, and yet you are still working and making more money. It pushes you above that threshold that you will not need to pay taxes, and you'll be required to pay taxes. That is, if your income is high, you pay. Now, regarding the age, I believe there is an age limit for paying, stopping the social security when you are for the elderly, But most of the times, if you really don't make much and it's just social security money you're making, you don't really have any burden as far as social security, you know, the social security you receive is concerned. So the age limit, I don't know the age limit right now. So I can check that and provide you with a response to that.
Okay. Zara nye dasi. Okay, just 3 minutes. So mbut me arapo apamaya nana.
You done can we be trained?
Sure. There were a few things the last time I wanted to touch on, but I think I did touch on some of them. A few red flags. I would again say, and I say this anytime I get opportunity to talk about taxes. Tax filing is not the taxman's responsibility. It is you, the person filing your tax. It is your responsibility to ensure that it's complete and accurate. So, bisa questions when you are working with your tax consultant or accountant. Don't assume they know it, or ask them questions to clarify things you don't understand so that you can file properly. Make sure you check all the sources of income and financial institutions. Most of the time they post their tax document on their e-statements so you can download them and then disclose them, because if you don't, sometimes you get a letter after you file your taxes because you've forgotten to add something. So make sure you don't forget. Don't rush to just file because you want the money. Make sure you are checking and then you file properly. Also, finally, I do have a firm and I have a team that will file taxes. It's not just me, it's a team, it's a company. So if you have any tax filing needs, we are open. We would help you. Not only tax filing, but if you have bookkeeping, like you want to maintain good, proper financial records, you can always reach out. My number is in the chat box and it could be shared. Thank you very much.
Okay. Number near 571-492-8291. 571-492-8291.
Oh, sorry, it's 8292. 571-492-8292.
92,
Media to social media cry 571-492-8292.
8292.
Yeah.
Like okay, we CPA into or go beyond just taxes. Anything about taxes and as anything about your account, bookkeeping here, the more companies in Kitwana more basunano, ubetimi abuam amai way. I hope that this 2 weeks no, I ain't shrama. Men rush it so quite file because we hear can make sure so that will be and when you say be more on my the as a scanner and way I dream tino. I won't mean be mammy. Now the may you cry and say who say and say just say a community sometimes yana or the moment can sacra. Just say there are people they go round until they come up we now what your
Yeah.
man or your manner. And yes, I need be cry when you ska kakra. No, I had to call another person. No, I had to call another person to try baby a scan washroom. The whole now. Yes, sir. Why would you want your information everywhere? And it was that near money name say and Tiasi, I say, it's a tax to say bank be a dear chinchina. But
Inyeska.
said it an ecano. A down home basem no. your file ma no the cool untimi e pa betimi aka den because se sa na wo ye dia because obi so e be try so be ma more so ma more and na bibi kosia no ana wa wasem you know yeah yeah o file na de obenya no kakra na afi say ye die ma ho nchiru bia me fi say okay when you be cry so e bia be de kane ade no but ni na person ya said your call ko sa website o ko se ni esi ntete oka o tete se ni esi your friends say ye kan say o claim no I betimi aboa e ma won de ka o break even cry okay you know but so call round ko nipa be 4 5 6 or obi ma na ko bi for sa de me fi say any good practice cry and you make sure say yen come yen lie low yen tree about yen fear any money and when their finances because what it is we not don't question sad na fee just say ha kroma kra nyo de bia na a friends Irish food which almost na one person be do which cry because we pay between Ghana ship pay we omunya asema e best kasemo ha tin and it be see na next week ya to us make sure say you spend wisely save intentionally and be generous. Daniela, that's be very, very informative with their mind. And then the audio cool scoop out tone such yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank everyone. Love you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
You know, na that's in your mission. Must have done this with your mission. And the bra when your mind said, "Me kind." Na personal number is 703-981-1910. 703-981-1910. With me afre in case of any financial issues and I be with me afre no abo Master Dani DN so 571-492-8292 571-492-8292 na oni omo edi nkomo na ometimi abo nyame hira so nya abre ebeka e homa yinyini suade kwesi de bia financial peace education yene nua Patrik na ya Barfi Asia no boy or financial aspect to also bit me a joining. So you will see no anti and then the financial peace education, the Debremon air about taxes part 2. Yamin shall be brave.